What's up guys, welcome to Wasted Space, and we're back in Space Engineers, and with a design that some of you guys might be a bit familiar with. Pretty much since I started using this thing in the group survival series, people have been asking me to stick a blueprint up, saying, oh, the bee looks really cool, you know, can I get my hands on it? It looks like it handles really well, no, just no guys, it doesn't. It's probably the worst land vehicle I've made in Space Engineers to date. And I figured we'd take a look at it, work out why it was so terrible, and then I'd show you a bit of an alternative, another way of doing things that works a damn sight better. So in front of me here is of course the General Bee, not the most funny joke in the world, but hey. And we've got two versions so that I could show you basically what it looks like under the top, what we got going on inside, and also because there's a little bit of a camera bug going on at the moment. But basically, standard survival layout, you've got batteries, cargo, way of connecting it all up, it's all conveyed together. The only thing that was a bit weird with this design is the use of these text panels. So a lot of people thought this was actually a mod and that these were the catwalk plates, but no, these are just standard text panels, and the reason I like these, if we bring them up in the menu, is because they'll actually attach onto the side of other text panels and so on, and you can get these really thin floors out of it. So that keeps your ground clearance really good, but gives you something to sit a chair on, for example. And that's pretty much it, aside from why it's so terrible. And I think that's these wheels, these center section set of wheels that are kind of inset a bit, just seem to make it really unstable. So we're actually going to jump into this one, because unfortunately with this version, if I get into here, when you control the car, the third-person camera will not go any further than that. The turret's getting in the way for some reason. That didn't used to happen, but in the end what it means is that we're going to use this version as a demonstration because it doesn't happen without the turret on the back, so we can now see a proper one. And basically what I'm going to do is show you why this is so bad. So I'm just holding forward at the moment. You'll notice that the one thing it doesn't particularly like doing is going in a straight line. And this is where the problems begin. So we're already starting to be not pointing in the direction of motion, and the longer we go on with this, the worse it's going to get. And at some point, of course, we'll collide with a tree, or we'll do one of the famous rolls. Here we go. So I haven't done any steering whatsoever. Okay, I'm just holding W, and we're now spinning. We'll probably end up upside down some point soon. It's awful. It really is awful. And okay, you think, well, don't just hold W then. Actually drive it. No, that doesn't make any difference. So a lot of retakes were required thanks to this little buggy here, especially when you introduce some of the multiplayer issues, like for some reason in multiplayer there now just seems to be landmines everywhere for vehicles. Like if you're not the host, if you're one of the clients connected up, you will just run over bits of ground that make you blow up, which is always fun. But you start to get the idea of what I mean about how this is not a very practical vehicle. Just think about trying to sort of go to a specific location. So let's just see how easy it is to go and... Come on, blooming hell. It's a great demonstration already. How easy it is to go back and park next to the one we were on before. And maybe we'll try and go between these two trees. He says, sliding like a... Oh, come on. And upside down. And upside down. So, yes, I think that gives you about as much idea of the bee as you need. Yes, it says please turn over on the bottom. That's for obvious reasons. So, instead of that, let's cut to another save where I've got something a little bit different that hopefully improves things. So, this, I guess, it's either being called the General D or the Bone Crusher. But this is a concept I came up with that I admit is quite a lot larger than the bee, but does some things that I don't really think I've seen any other ground vehicle do before. So, before we go for a drive, I'll just explain the basic concept of what's going on here. You'll notice there's loads of wheels. That's because they're actually set up into three different sets. We have an outer set of wheels, which are the ones running on the ground along the outside. We have an inner set of wheels, which are these ones in the middle. But if you notice, it's hard to see with the grass, these aren't actually on the ground at the moment. They're in the air. And then finally, we have this front set of four wheels, which are kind of lifted up a bit like, say, a tank track. And they're designed to do three different things that when combined together make for some pretty interesting results. So let's go for a little drive in this one instead. Now the first thing you'll notice is there's not so much of the sliding going on here. It does slide sometimes, but it's more than happy to actually turn and so on as well. But the main deal with this, and hopefully it won't screw me around in the demonstration recording, is some of its other terrain handling capabilities. So, got a bit of a hill here, and obviously with ground vehicles this has been the big problem. They're just not practical. They don't go very quickly, and they're incredibly fragile when it comes to some of the more difficult terrain. Or should be incredibly fragile when it comes to some of the more difficult terrain. Of course I'm going to hit the tree. No, I'm not. I'm going to go through the tree. So I think that should give you a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about. That was one of those lovely bits of craggy terrain that normally you'd go, oh god, that's where all my wheels are coming off. So let's continue the demonstration a little further, because I have to admit I am about as pleased with this thing as I could be. This was one of these ones where I had an idea, and then the idea just worked straight away. And honestly, better than I was expecting. So, kill going. It's worth noting at this point we are doing absolutely max speed. We are going as fast as an aircraft could, but on the ground. And oh no! Oh wait. Oh. Yep, that's right. It's about as bulletproof as I've ever been able to make a set of suspension, to the point where you can drive up cliffs in this thing. You can do ridiculous jumps, and you can spend your entire time travelling around the world at maximum speed and still have the ability to turn. Not give a damn about the fact that you're leaving the ground constantly, because you'll just come back down, and when you do, you'll be back in control. Oh look, we're on the ground. I need to turn now. Let's turn then. There we go, and now we're going off this direction. It does obviously slide a bit at full speed, but all you've got to do is turn further. And hopefully you guys will see what I'm talking about. Now, there's not a huge amount more to demonstrate on this. It's the three set of wheels. You've got that front set that is designed to absorb impacts. They're set at maximum. And that's what allows you to go over the really craggy terrain without breaking yourself. You've got the side sets, which are your normal driving wheels. They're the ones that steer. They're really soft. And so they're allowing you that normal level of suspension that you'd expect from a ground vehicle. But that always goes wrong when it comes to a couple of scenarios, like when you're slamming into the ground. So the middle set have been offset, so they're not quite as low down on the suspension, but they are really, really, really stiff. And it means that instead of compressing so far as the outside wheels brake, the middle wheels hit the ground and stop that from happening. So I've managed to wander into an area where there's very little to demonstrate, so hopefully I can stick some footage over the top of all this rambling to start giving you a better idea of what I'm talking about. But yeah, 360 kilometers an hour, pretty much okay. The one thing you can't deal with is rocks, but it's worth noting there are some gyros in this just to help you come down a bit more level. You might as well. It's capable of jumping just fine. But you'll notice that actually taking that big chunk of the vehicle out doesn't really make any difference. So it does seem that this technique works really nicely. I can tell you that there is definitely a cap. There's a maximum weight before you either need more wheels or to lighten up the vehicle, because it can't get any heavier than a certain amount. But I mean, look at that. Why is this thing not a pancake? Why is the surrounding countryside not covered in wheels? Pretty pleased with this one, to be honest, guys. I'm also not sure there's a huge amount more to say about it. I mean, that's about the extent of things. It's a wheel frame that I stuck something on top of, and that's exactly what I'm going to be uploading. So I will upload this, the whatever you want to call it. It's like a race tank almost. But I will also be uploading the frame underneath it without anything on it. Hang on, I just need to climb this mountain here. Don't mind me. Okay, we are losing altitude. Okay, we're going back down the mountain, apparently. That's fine. Now you can see why we need the gyros, otherwise you'd end up upside down in the air at some point. And, yeah, it's worth it, because you can then control it, go back down the other side, even when you're missing half the craft. So the frame's going to be up on the workshop, the tank will be up on the workshop, and if you really want it, the bee will be up on the workshop as well. Just take into account, the thing is terrible, guys. It is really terrible. If someone ends up taking it and turning it into something that's cool, then please hit me up and show me what you've done with it. But otherwise, I think I'm writing that thing off, and I'm not that sad that it's currently sitting in two pieces at the bottom of a canyon. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Bit of a different design, but one that I'm pretty damn pleased with. If you did like it, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It does really help me in the channel out. Don't forget you can check it out on the workshop with links just down in the video description below. And if you didn't like this video, then obviously hit that dislike button. But also please let me know, how can I improve? Hit me up in the comments, give me some suggestions. So thanks very much, guys, and I will catch you next time.